Krishna Bhajan is a long time Vaishnav. He's also, as mentioned, PhD in sociology, but his keen interest and his research is anthropology. And he's doing some work right now with the support of the Bhaktivedanta Institute. And he's going to give an interim kind of presentation on what he's working on, which I think you'll find interesting.
Okay.
I will.
I hope so.
Go on.
All right. So I'm just going to talk about a couple of projects that I'm working on. The first is about the topic of time, and this is something that actually I put a presentation together back in 1995 at the request of Janmastami Prabhu in Denver for a seminar series that he was putting on. And what I'm doing with that is, at Krishna's request, I'm updating it and kind of repackaging it. What it is really is just I went through Prabhupada's books, and it's simply gathering information, not analyzing, but gathering information from Prabhupada's books and his lectures about the topic of time, and kind of pulling it all together and presenting it in tables and charts and diagrams, with the idea that we are part of a culture. The Krishna consciousness movement is part of a culture. Prabhupada presented a culture. He brought with him a culture, and that's what he, when he came to America. If some of you are familiar with sociology or anthropology, you'll have heard the term acculturation, right? So normally when people come from one country into another, they're subjected to what's called acculturation pressure. That is, there's a pressure, not necessarily spoken, to become like the people in the country that you've just moved to. So Prabhupada did the exact opposite. Right? Prabhupada's bringing in the person of Prabhupada and in his books, he's bringing a culture from another country, and instead of him giving up that culture and taking on the culture of the country that he's come to, he's actually giving that culture to the people that he's in the country that he's moved to. So it's very interesting. That doesn't usually happen. It's one of those ones where you put a little sign that this never happens. Well, it doesn't usually happen. Taking that approach and then taking the topic of time, something that I've not ever heard an explanation of what time really is. It certainly rules our lives, and we measure it. We have ways of kind of organizing it, but what is it really? So the Vedic culture has its own system of measuring time and organizing time. And Prabhupada's books, I found that also Prabhupada in many places gives what the Vedic culture's idea of what time is. He gives that also. So that's what I'm trying to just bring all that together and kind of update what I did before, and package it in a sort of anthropological way, as okay, here's an aspect of Vedic culture, and this is what Prabhupada has given us. He's presented. This is what it's saying. Okay, so that's one topic. I'm also adding some. Sariputta Prabhu, of course, was one of Prabhupada's senior disciples in the field of science, and he's one of the founding members of the BI. So he also had added a few things that he found to what Prabhupada said. So I'm including some of that as well in this kind of summary of what Vedic time is.